Have you ever looked at your savings account and just wondered, what could this money actually become? Well, you are in the right place. We are about to break down a super powerful financial concept that's going to completely change how you see your money's potential.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you have $100 or $100,000. We all want to know the same thing. What is this money going to look like down the road? How do we get a real, solid answer?
Well, that answer has a name, and it's called future value. And no, this isn't just some boring financial jargon. It is the actual key to unlocking the hidden potential inside your bank account so you can plan for the future you really want.
Okay, so here's the official textbook definition. Future value, or FV for short, is simply the value of your money at some specific point in the future, assuming it's going to grow at a certain rate. It's all about projecting forward to see what your hard-earned cash can turn into.
But honestly, here's a much easier way to think about it. Future value is basically a time machine for your money. Seriously, it lets you take $1 today, send it into the future, and see what it's worth after it's had some time to grow. Pretty cool, right?
Of course, every time machine needs an engine to make it go. And for our money's time machine, that engine is a surprisingly simple formula. So let's pop the hood and take a look.
Whoa, okay, I know what you might be thinking. Letters, parentheses, exponents. This looks a little intimidating, maybe something straight out of a math textbook. But I promise you, it's so much simpler than it looks. That one little equation holds the entire secret to your money's growth. And we can break it all down into 3 super easy steps. See? So much better. Let's just forget the fancy formula for a second and just look at these steps. First, you just add 1 to your interest rate. Second, you multiply that new number by itself for each year you plan to let it grow. And finally, you take that result and multiply it by the money you started with. That's it. That is the entire process.
All right, theory is great, but seeing this thing in action is way better. Let's plug in some actual numbers and make this crystal clear.
So here's our scenario. Let's say we have a starting investment, that's our present value, of $4,000. We found a great spot to put it that gives us a 5% return every year, and we're just going to let it sit there for 3 years. So, what's the future value?
Okay, let's start with step 1. We take our interest rate, which is 5%, and as a decimal, that's just 0.05, and we add 1 to it. Simple as that. That gives us 1.05. This is our growth factor for 1 single year.
And now for step 2. We need to account for 3 years of growth, not just 1. So we take that 1.05 and we multiply it by itself 3 times. So 1.05 times 1.05 times 1.05. And that gives us about 1.158. This number is our total growth factor for the whole 3-year ride.
And finally, the easy part. Step 3. We take our total growth factor, that 1.158, and multiply it by our starting $4,000. And there you have it, $4,630. In just 3 years, our money grew by over $600, all by itself. That is the power we're talking about.
And if you want to see exactly how this magic happens, this table breaks it all down. After year 1, your $4,000 grows to $4,200. But here's the crucial part. In year 2, you're not earning interest on the original $4,000 anymore. You're earning it on the new amount, the $4,200. That's compounding. Your interest starts earning its own interest. And as you can see, that's exactly how we land on our final number. So we've walked through the math, but let's zoom out. What's the bigger picture here? Why is it so important to know this? Because this isn't just a math exercise. This is about turning a simple formula into real, actual financial power. Look, here's what it all boils down to. Future value gives you a clear vision of your money's true potential. It takes this huge, abstract idea of compounding interest, which is the real engine of wealth growth, and turns it into a simple calculation you can do yourself. And that empowers you to set real goals for a house, for retirement, for anything, and know exactly what it's going to take to get there. It puts you in the driver's seat. We've just handed you the keys to your own financial time machine. You now have the tool to look ahead and see what is truly possible. So the only question left is the most exciting one of all. What kind of future are you going to start building today?